Ray,
We were skipping so many three. We don't need to skip
Elizabeth,
three. We don't do that on shows.
Margie.
I'm not supposed to do that.
You said she'll
A few little things. You didn't have everything from in-store service that she'll be doing.
I had dinner at 4:45. If you need, I You know what? I'll give you a couple now. So.
And I have a little show here. Keep my character going.
We're still listening.
Well, I know where Matt and Bill are. They're with the Tories. They're past presidents.
That's all right.
We're missing Margie
Yeah. She's right there. And Elizabeth.
and Elizabeth.
Yep.
Who's here?
Ray,
Ray.
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth had a sick puppy problem last rehearsal. Elizabeth.
Oh, Elizabeth. Well, the traffic was.
If you come up 75, it's closed for part of the way.
I hate cycling.
75.
They're working on construction.
Try to cut them.
Ray is sitting over there. I don't know what she's on.
Talking to her mother. Yeah, her parents are here.
Huh?
Her parents are here from Iowa.
She watched it and she literally did 3 times and posted it.
Oh, really? Well, that's called like relaxing. People aren't staring at your face.
But this is the my owner and I were doing. Yeah.
Oh, here they come.
There's Mark. Oh, I don't have force on you.
Hey!
I can do it. I don't have the music for that. Ozarua.
It might just be in the book.
I'm gonna just.
Yeah,
I don't think we have music for Ozarua.
No, we don't.
Okay, we don't.
I think that I wonder if Elizabeth isn't coming and we need to move one chair out of our row.
Well, yeah, probably. You can leave the chair there.
Shabbat Shalom. Good Yom Tov and Shana Tova, Gemar Chatima Tova. We could probably throw in a Tzom Kal in there as well. I wish you all welcome to Northern Hills Synagogue. It's good to see so many smiling faces and so many faces that are thinking about that meal that they just ate and how they're not going to eat another one until tomorrow night. We are very glad to see you and to have you joining us this evening. If you happen to bring kids and you didn't know, we do have a babysitter present in the playroom in the back. If you didn't know, we also have a playroom in the back. And we hope that you will enjoy this introspective period we're entering into as we begin our Yom Kippur together with this Kol Nidre service. I'm joined by Rabbi Shapra, who will be delivering a few words opening our service tonight. Page 204 in your Machzor.
Will be on the bottom of the page where it says Kol Nidre. I am grateful for this, a moment of truth, grateful to stand before you in judgment. You know me as a liar, and I am flooded with relief to have my darkest self exposed at last. Every day I break my vows to be the dutiful child, selfless parent, caring friend, responsible citizen of the world. No one sees, no one knows how often I take the easy way. I let myself off the hook, give myself the benefit of the doubt. Every day, every day. On this day, this one day, I stand before you naked, without disguise, without embellishment, naked, shivering, ridiculous. I implore you, let me try again.
B'shiva shel ma'ala u'b'shiva shel mata al dat hamakom ve'al dat hakal anu matirin litpalel im ha'avaryanim b'shiva shel ma'ala u'b'shiva shel mata al dat hamakom ve'al dat hakal anu matirin litpalel im ha'avaryanim b'shiva shel ma'ala u'b'shiva shel mata al dat hamakom ve'al dat hakal anu matirin litpalel im ha'avaryanim.
By the authority of the court on high and by the authority of this court below, with divine consent and with the consent of this congregation, we grant permission to pray with those who have transgressed. Page 205.
Kol nidre v'sarei v'charamei v'konamei v'chinuyei v'kinusei u'shevuot din darna u'dishtabana u'dacharim na v'dasarna al nafshatana miyom kippurim zeh ad yom kippurim Habaleinu letova kulhon icharatna vehon kulhon yehon sheran shvitin betelin u'mevutalin la sharirin ve'la kayamin nidrana la nidre ve'sarana la esa Esarei. Ushivuatana la shivuot. Kol nidre vesarei v'charamei v'konamei v'chinuyei v'kinusei ushivuot din darna u'deishtabana u'de'acharim na v'dasana al nafshatana miyom kippurim zeh ad yom kippurim haba aleinu letova kulhon icharatna vehon kulhon yehon shiran shvikin shvitin betelin umevutalin ay la sharirin vela kayamin nidrana la nidre vesarana la esarei ushivuatana la shivuot kol nidre vesarei v'charamei v'konamei v'chinuyei v'kinusei ushivuot din darna u'deishtabana u'de'acharim na v'dasarna al nafshatana miyom kippurim zeh ad yom kippurim haba aleinu letova kulhon icharatna vehon kulhon yehon shiran shvikin shvitin betelin umevutalin la sharirin vela kayamin nidrana la nidre vesarana la esarei ushivuatana la shivuot v'nislach lechol adat lechol adat b'nei Yisrael v'lager hagar b'tocham כי לכל העם בשגגה ונסלח לכל עדת בני ישראל ולגר הגר בתוכם כי לכל העם בשגגה ונסלח לכל עדת בני ישראל ולגר הגר בתוכם כי לכל העם בשגגה סלח נא לעוון העם הזה כגודל חסדך וכאשר נשאת לעם הזה ממצרים ועד הנה ושם נאמר ויאמר אדוני סלחתי כדבריך ויאמר אדוני סלחתי כדבריך ויאמר אדוני סלחתי כדבריך ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Going down now? What?
Clearly I got through rabbinical school on my ability to count. Page 206. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm early. I skipped something. It's our Kol Nidre appeal.
So I just used up one of my allotted minutes. A Shana Tova to everyone here and to everyone on the live stream. Some people are beloved by many generations. James Earl Jones, who passed away earlier this summer, was one of them. You may remember him saying, "I find your lack of faith disturbing," as Darth Vader in Star Wars, or the voice of Mufasa in The Lion King. Those of us who are nostalgic about the movie Field of Dreams may recall him as the irascible author, Terrence Mann, in that film. As for me, Jones is forever etched in my memory as struggling, working-class head of household Troy Maxson in August Wilson's epic Fences. This Pulitzer Prize-winning play chronicles the family of Troy Maxson, who aspired to play professional baseball, but was denied entry into the major leagues because of his race. The actual set consists of a small house in a poor part of Pittsburgh and is surrounded by a fence. This structure served both as a barrier to keep the cruel outside world away and also as a symbol for the way we shut other people out of our lives to avoid getting hurt. In a scene that still gets to me years later, Maxson's teenage son, who strongly wants some acknowledgement from his father, asks him whether or not, "Dad, do you like me?" Troy launches into a tirade, ending with liking not being the issue. "You need to make sure that people do right by you." Well, at Northern Hills, we strive to do both. Newcomers have commented to me how welcome they feel entering our doors, even on their first visit to the synagogue. At the same time, we are doing everything possible to remove unnecessary fences, stumbling blocks, and barriers. Our goal as a synagogue is to enable you to become active in our congregation in a way that meets your needs. One example of what we have done relates to our dues and dues structure. 2 months ago, I participated in a Zoom call with synagogue presidents around the country. My jaw dropped when I learned that annual dues around the country average $2,000 for an individual and $3,000 for a family. And I was even more stunned to learn that congregants in these congregations are then charged extra for the privilege of attending the high holiday services. That's not us. If you're one of the 150 membership households in our congregation, you know that we have not raised dues for a number of years, and we don't intend to do so anytime soon. Please be assured that if you are one of the many people in our congregation who cannot afford our advertised fee, that you can meet privately with our executive director, who will work out a plan for you so that you can belong and pay what you can afford. We value you and you and you as a member of our congregation, regardless of your financial circumstances. So one of our core values is to be welcoming and inclusive. We constantly challenge ourselves to come up with new ways to be responsive to all of you and all of us. Question for you. When you walked in the door this evening, did any of you notice a mezuzah only 3 feet from the ground? Well, that's new, and it came at the suggestion of some of our members because we wanted to make sure that children or people who are wheelchair bound can touch a mezuzah when they enter the synagogue. We now display signs in our building to announce that we are LGBTQ friendly, and we also designate some of our bathrooms as all gender. This is because we want to be inclusive. I could elaborate on many other things we do tonight, but that would take way too long. And so if you are interested in more depth about the programs, catch me at break, catch me after services, call me. I will be glad to chat with you. We are so fortunate to have a dream team of staff here. We have the most magnificent rabbinical and professional team that we have had in years. And you know what they do? They help turn many of our ideas into our reality. And separate from our programming, all of our rabbis are always available to meet with you on an individual basis if you have a personal need or concern that you need to be addressed. Well, now comes the moment you've been waiting for. Since dues are not the major source of revenue for our activities, we truly rely on the success of our annual Kol Nidre appeal so that we can continue to be financially stable. Last year at this time, I'm pleased to report that we raised more than $250,000, and this year we hope to achieve an even greater success. Recently, I believe most everybody here received a snail mail request to contribute to our appeal. To those of you who have already responded, we are thankful and we are grateful. I know others were waiting with bated breath to hear what I had to say. And if you're in that category, now is the time to open the envelope you received as you came in the building. And if you didn't get it, now is the time to make a beeline out and to get the envelope that is addressed to you. So, the next question is, what should you donate? Only you know what the synagogue is worth to you and your family. Speaking for myself, I'm really fortunate to be president of this congregation because I get to see up close and personal what our congregation does for one another every day. And I am in awe of this place and what we do for each other. And that's why I personally chose to make a significant increase in my giving over last year. So if you're still undecided, here's some guidelines for you. Last year's average pledge was a little over $2,000. Actual pledges ranged from $18 to more than $25,000. Total pledges were 10% more than the year before. Now's the time to open up that individualized letter if you haven't done so already, and you'll see that it contains several suggestions for you to consider. Once you've decided what's right for you and your family, simply move the tab to that amount, then carefully put that pledge card back in the envelope and hand it to one of the ushers. Cue ushers, you can start walking up and down, and give it to one of the ushers. We ask that you not put your pledge back on the table because it will get lost in the shuffle. If you are watching our services online, we have a simple way for you to contribute. Please wait until the end of Shabbat and the end of Yom Kippur, and then go to our website to donate. Click on that donate tab and follow the directions. Well, when I started talking a couple of minutes ago, I referenced James Earl Jones, and I now want to end with a memory of him as well. In that movie, Field of Dreams, the hero of the story debates whether or not to build a baseball stadium in the cornfields of Iowa. Well, James Earl Jones' character urges him on by saying, "If you build it, they will come." And to paraphrase for our synagogue, with your help, with your donations, with your volunteer time and effort, we will continue to thrive and grow. I want to thank everybody here for being part of our Northern Hills family. I end with saying, Gamar Chatima Tova, and may all of us be inscribed in the book of life in the coming year. And I see the ushers are going up and down the aisle so they can pick up the pledge cards, and we'll resume our formal service shortly.
We turn at this time to page 206.
Psalm 92, a song for Shabbat. It is good to thank you, Adonai, to sing your praise, exalted God.
To speak of your love each morning and of your faithfulness each night, to the music of the lute and the melody of the harp.
Your creation, Adonai, gives me joy. I sing of your handiwork.
How vast your works, Adonai, how intricate your designs.
The thoughtless cannot comprehend, the foolish cannot fathom this.
The wicked flourish like grass. Those who commit evil blossom, only to be destroyed in the end.
But you, Adonai, are supreme forever.
Surely your enemies, Adonai, surely your enemies shall perish. Those who commit evil shall crumble.
And you will raise my head high like the horn of the ox, anointing me with fragrant oil.
Were enemies to gather against me, my gaze would remain steady, for my ears would hear.
The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree, they shall endure like the cedar in Lebanon, transplanted in the house of Adonai, thriving in our God's courtyard.
In old age they are yet fruitful, always fresh and fragrant, proclaiming that Adonai is flawless, my stronghold, never unjust.
Adonai malach geut lavesh. Mikolot mayim rabim adim mishpereyam adir bamarom Adonai edotecha nemnu meod levetcha nava kodesh Adonai leorech yamim.
We rise for the formal call to worship Baruch Hu on page 207.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Umavir yom, umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uven laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai hamari baravim.
We read at the top of page 208. Will be led by Kathy Hart.
You have loved your people, the house of Israel, with infinite love. You've taught us Torah and mitzvot, statutes and laws. Therefore, Adonai our God, as we lie down or rise up, we shall think of your laws and speak of them, rejoicing in your words of Torah and your mitzvot forever and ever. For they are our life and the fullness of our days, and on them we will meditate day and night. May you never withdraw your love from us. Baruch atah Adonai, who loves the people Israel.
Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yamenu, v'hem neger yomam v'layla, v'avatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha u'b'lechtecha b'derech ובשכבך ובקומך וקשתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. Adonai Elohechem emet. ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ובני ישראל לכנו שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך מלכותך ראו בניך בוקע ים לפני משה זה לי ענו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו Baruch atah Adonai Kal Yisrael.
Allow us, Adonai our God, to sleep peacefully and to waken again to life, our sovereign.
Spread over us your canopy of peace. Restore us for every counsel and save us for the sake of your name.
Shield us, remove from us enemies and pestilence, sword, starvation, and sorrow, and remove the evil forces that surround us.
Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, for you, God, watch over and deliver us, and you are the sovereign, merciful, and compassionate.
Ensure our going and coming for life and peace, now and forever.
May you spread over us your canopy of peace.
Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us and over all the people of Israel and over Jerusalem.
ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום יתה ועד עולם ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ברוך אתה אדוני הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש כי ביום הזה יכפר עליכם לטהר אתכם מכל חטאותיכם לפני אדוני תטהרו יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה בעלמא דברה קירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולמי עולם יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה בריחו לעילה לעילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירם בעלמא ויאמרו אמן.
We continue at this time with a silent Amidah beginning on page 213. Be aware that this silent Amidah includes a series of confessions and slichot at the end. If you are finishing your own prayers or confessions, please continue. If you've completed those prayers, please join us on page 222 and rise.
ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם ויכל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה וישפוט ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו אלוהי אברהם אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב אלוהי שרה אלוהי רבקה אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא אל עליון קונה שמיים וארץ מגן אבות בדברו מחיה מתים למאמרו המלך הקדוש שאין כמוהו המניח לעמו ביום שבת קדשו כי בם רצה להניח להם כי בם רצה להניח להם לפניו נעבוד לירם אף אחד ונודה בשמו בכל יום תמיד מעון הברכות אל ההודעות אדון השלום מקדש השבת ומברך שביעי ומניח בקדושה לעמדו שני עוני זכר למעשה בראשית אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו רצה במנוחתנו קדשנו במצוותיך ותן חלקנו בתורתך צווינו מטובך ושמחנו בישועתך וטהר ליבנו לעבדך באמת והנחילנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה ורצון שבת קדשך וינוחו בישראל מקדשי שמך ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Amen. You may be seated as we continue with our Dvar Torah. It's on the outline. Sermon. And I invite Rabbi Schapper to join us at the Amud as our Darshanit this evening.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm just allergic to flowers, so I'm gonna keep my mask on. But I just want to make sure that people all the way back there can hear me. Okay, very good. Okay. For a very long time, I have struggled to connect with the legalese of Kol Nidre. Dear God, I made promises this year that I didn't intend to keep. And I made promises this year that I haven't been able to keep. Like when I ate a lot of cake on my birthday. And then I said, I am never going to eat a piece of cake again. And then the next day, I ate cake. Or an example from the Mishnah, I said I would visit a friend for lunch, but I got sick and I had to cancel. These were the types of examples that came to mind when I thought of the vows that needed to be annulled on Kol Nidre. And honestly, I don't think Kol Nidre is worthy of these vows. I don't think I need to fast or have all the presidents hold the Torahs because I ate too much cake. So what is Kol Nidre worthy of? Well, for a long time I wasn't sure until I listened to a podcast called Who Trolled Amber? This podcast is an investigation into the social media storm that surrounded Amber Heard and Johnny Depp during their defamation trial of 2022. Here's the premise. In 2018, Amber wrote an op-ed for the Washington Post about surviving domestic and sexual abuse. In 2019, Johnny Depp sued Amber for defamation, even though she never named her abuser in the article, and he claimed that actually Amber was the abuser. And in 2020, Amber countersued Johnny for defamation. Now, it was around this time that the trial began in 2022 that social media users on sites like Twitter and Facebook started commenting on the trial with hashtags or searchable catchphrases like "Justice for Johnny" or "Justice for Amber," and overwhelmingly, users supported Johnny Depp. One news source said that between April 25th and 29th, that's a 5-day window, there were 100 times more posts on Facebook supporting Johnny Depp than Amber Heard, and 700 times more interactions with these posts, meaning things like likes and comments and shares. And this wasn't just a regular viral response to a high-profile court case, because a lot of the people who were supporting Johnny Depp were actively hating and threatening Amber Heard and her legal team. They couldn't believe that Amber Heard would abuse their favorite pirate. But here's the thing. This 2022 U.S. trial was not the first time that Depp and Heard had appeared in court. In 2018, 2 years earlier, The Sun, a British tabloid, published an article calling Johnny Depp a wife-beater. Johnny Depp sued for libel and lost because the UK court system found 14 instances where Johnny Depp had indeed been abusive to Amber Heard. So how is it that Johnny Depp can be found guilty of domestic abuse in the United Kingdom, but Amber Heard is found guilty of domestic abuse in the United States? Well, according to the investigation done by BBC reporter Alexi Mastras, it all came down to inauthentically generated social media posts, or bots. He lays out the timeline. On November 6th, a week after the UK trial closed, Depp announced on Instagram that he'd been fired from the third Fantastic Beasts movie. And in the 2 days that followed Depp's announcement, a rash of suspicious bot activity flooded the internet. And what's significant about this finding is that this also took place 15 months before the U.S. trial. 15 months before the general U.S. public even knew that Johnny Depp and Amber Heard were going to court, social media platforms had already manipulated public opinion. This is what's called a disinformation campaign, where somebody hires a bot farm. And a bot farm is a company that can very quickly and very cheaply create hundreds of fake social media accounts and make thousands of posts even quicker. One account that Alexia Mastras found had tweeted, are you ready? More than 370,000 times since 2021, which he calculated to be about one post every 2 minutes, 24 hours a day for 3 years. And the posts that these bot farms are hired to make are more often than not propaganda posts. And in this case, not just one bot farm, but bot farms all over the world were hired to create fake accounts and make fake posts about innocent Johnny Depp and evil, manipulative, guilty Amber Heard. And it worked. You, me, normal people were duped. And how do we know this? Because the vast majority of users, not posts, but regular people making the posts about Amber the abuser and justice for Johnny were real. Real people who were interested in the Depp Heard case would post, but they would post just a few times a day. But the fake accounts would post thousands a day, skewing the algorithm so that your social media account and my social media account and everybody's social media account were flooded with fake information and about two people that we've never met. And we all believed it was true, because the mass is trustworthy. If we believe that all of the accounts that we see on our social media are real people, and all those real people are saying the same thing, then it must be true. Then Amber Heard must be guilty. And if I vow to be a good person, and if I vow to make a small difference in the world, and if I vow to support men who are in abusive relationships, then I too will post #JusticeForJohnny, and I too will talk about Amber the abuser with my friends. And I will have made a vow that I intended to keep, but due to circumstances beyond my control, I was not able to keep that vow. This is what Kol Nidre has transformed into for the modern world. Yes, we do still need to watch our language and the promises we make to one another. For example, we shouldn't offer to help someone if we're unable to help, even if we really want to help out. We really shouldn't swear to not do something we know we're going to do anyway. I knew I would eat more cake the next day. But in the modern world, it is getting so hard to know the difference between what is real and what is fake. And unless we are completely isolated from the world, we will be inundated with real fake news. And no matter how hard we try to be objective in the content that we consume, sometimes it's just impossible. The technology is too good. So on Kol Nidre, we say this: Dear God, I made promises to be a conscientious consumer, but I was not always able to keep that promise. Please do not hold me accountable for believing the information that I was manipulated to believe. Please protect the people who were hurt, like Amber Heard, because the mass, including me, believed the misinformation that was thrown at me from all sides. From this Yom Kippur until next Yom Kippur, I will be duped again, and I won't even know it. So please understand that the actions I take are done with the best of intentions. Baruch atah Adonai, chanun hamarbe lisloach. Blessed are you, God, who repeatedly forgives. Shabbat shalom.
We continue on page 223.
Ya'ale tachanunenu me'erev v'yahavo shavatenu mi boker v'yera'eh rinunenu v'yera'eh rinunenu v'yera'eh rinunenu v'yera'eh Ya'ale koleinu me'erev Yahavo kitzidkatenu mi boker V'yera'eh inyoneinu V'yera'eh inyoneinu V'yera'eh inyoneinu V'yera'eh inyoneinu Ya'ale inuyenu me'erev Yahavo slichatenu mi boker V'yera'eh nachatenu V'yera'eh Lesonenu Amearev V'yahavo Lema'ano Miboker Yiveyar Epid Yorenu Ad Arev Ya'ale Yishenu Me'arev V'yahavo Tacharenu Miboker V'yivarei Chununenu Ad Arev Ya'ale Zichronenu Me'erev V'yavo V'yudenu Miboker V'yera Ehad Ratenu Ad Arev Ya'ale Dafkenu Me'erev V'yahavo Gilenu Mi Boker Ya'ale Ankatenu Me'erev V'yahavo Elecha Mi Boker
We begin our first of 3 cycles of Slichot prayers at the top of page 224 with a responsive reading. All flesh comes to you, you who hear prayer. They shall come to bow down before you, Adonai, and they will pay honor to your name. Let us greet God with thanks and sing songs of praise. In God's hand is every living soul and the breath of all human flesh. Continue at the top of page 225.
Neshama lach v'haguf palach chusa chusa al amalach Haneshama lach v'haguf shelach Adonai aseh Leman shemecha atanu al shimcha Adonai aseh aseh leman shemecha bavur kevod kevod shimcha ki el chanun Verachum shemecha leman shimcha shimcha Adonai v'salachta lavonenu ki ravhu Darkecha Elohenu laharicha pecha L'ra'im v'latovim vehi tilatecha. למענך אלוהינו עשה ולא לנו, ראה עמידתנו דלים וריקים. תעלה ארוחה לעלה נידף, תנחם על עפר ואפר. תשליך חטאינו ותחון במעשיך, תראה כי אין איש עשה עמנו צדקה.
Continue with the recitation of the 13 attributes. Please rise.
Page 226. God, you are patient. You are known as the source of mercy. You taught the way of repentance. Today and every day, call to mind the wonder of your compassion and mercy toward the children of those you loved. Turn toward us in mercy, for you are the source of mercy.
Together.
We approach your presence with supplication and prayer, and with the words you revealed to Moses, the humble one, long ago. Turn away from wrath, and let us nestle under your wings, as it is written in your Torah.
About the day God descended in a cloud.
Overlook sin, blot out guilt.
As on the day God stood beside him.
Hear our cry,
attend our plea, as on the day he called the name Adonai.
ויעבור אדוני על פניו ויקרא אדוני אדוני אל רחום וחנון ארך אפיים ורב חסד ואמת נוצר חסד לאלפים נושא עוון בפשע וחטא ונקה וסלחת לעווננו ולחטאתנו ונחלתנו סלח לנו אבינו כי חטאנו מחל לנו מלכנו כי פשענו כי אתה אדוני טוב וסלח ורב חסד לכל קוראיך.
We continue at the top of page 227. We'll read responsively the first two and the last two verses. As clay in the hand of the potter who thickens it or thins it at will, so are we in your hand, guardian of love. As stone in the hand of the mason who preserves or breaks it at will, so are we in your hand, God of life and death. All your covenant, do not be accuser. As cloth in the hand of the draper who drapes or twists it at will, so are we in your hand, righteous God. All your covenant, do not be the accuser. As silver in the hand of the smelter who alloys or refines it at will, so are we in your hand, healer of wounds. Recall your covenant, do not heed the accuser. We turn now to page 229. We rise for a second recitation of the 13 attributes.
אל מלך יושב על כיסא רחמים, מתנהג בחסידות, מוחל עוונות עמו, מעביר ראשון ראשון, מרבה מחילה לחטאים וסליחה לפושעים, עושה צדקות עם כל בשר ורוח, לא חרתם תגמול. אל הורית לנו לומר 13, זכר לנו היום ברית 13, כמו שהודעת לעניו מקדם, כמו שכתוב, ויעד אדוני בענן ויתייצב עמו שם, ויקרא בשם אדוני, ויעבור אדוני על פניו ויקרא אדוני אדוני אל רחום וחנון ערך אפיים ורב חסד ואמת נוצר חסד לאלפים נושא עוון ופשע וחטא ונקה וסלחת לעווננו ולחטאתנו ונחלתנו סלח לנו אבינו כי חטאנו מחל לנו מלכנו כי פשענו כי אתה אדוני טוב וסלח ורב חסד לכל קוראיך.
And we turn to page 231 for a reading near the bottom of the page.
The world is full of your glory. Adonai, where shall I find you? High and hidden in your place? And where shall I not find you? The world is full of your glory.
Together, I sought your closeness. I called to you with all my heart. And going out to meet you, I found you coming toward me. We was a third time on page 232. Thank you.
אל מלך יושב על כיסא רחמים, מתנהג בחסידות, מוחל עוונות עמו, מעביר ראשון ראשון, מרבה מחילה לחטאים וסליחה לפושעים, עושה צדקות עם כל בשר ברוח, לא חרתם תגמול. אל הורית לנו לומר 13, זכר לנו היום ברית 13, כמו שהודעת לענב מקדם, כמו שכתוב, וירד אדוני בענן ויתייצב עמו שם, ויקרא בשם אדוני, ויעבור אדוני על פניו ויקרא אדוני אדוני אל רחום וחנון ערך אפיים ורב חסד ואמת נוצר חסד לאלפים נושא עוון ופשע וחטא ונקה וסלחת לעווננו ולחטאתנו ונחלתנו. סלח לנו אבינו כי חטאנו, מחל לנו מלכנו כי פשענו, כי אתה אדוני טוב וסלח ורב חסד לכל קוראיך. האזינה אדוני תפילתנו, והקשיבה בכל תחנונותינו, הקשיבה לכל שבענו מלכנו ואלוהינו, כי אליך נתפלל. תהינה אוזניך קשבת ועיניך פתוחות אל תפילת עבדיך עמך ישראל. שמעת מן השמיים ממכון שבטך את תפילתם ואת תחינותיהם ועשית משפטם. וסלחת לעמך אשר חטאו לך. כרחם אב על בנים כן תרחם אדוני עלינו. לאדוני הישועה על עמך ברכתך סלע. אדוני צבאות עמנו משגב לנו אלוהי יעקב סלע. אדוני צבאות אשר אדם בוטח בך. אדוני הושיע המלך יעננו ביום קראנו. סלח נא לעוון העם הזה כגודל חסדך, וכאשר נסעת לעם הזה ממצרים ועד הנה, ושם נאמר ויאמר אדוני סלחתי כדבריך, ויאמר אדוני סלחתי כדבריך, ויאמר אדוני סלחתי כדבריך. כפר חטאינו ביום הזה ותרנו כמה שכתוב. כי ביום הזה יכפר עליכם לטהר אתכם מכל חטאותיכם לפני אדוני תטהרו. הביאנו אל הר קדשך ושמחנו בבית תפילתך כמה שכתוב. כי ביתי בית תפילה יקרא לכל העמים.
Please rise.
שמע קולנו אדוני אלוהינו חוס ורחם עלינו וקבל ברחמים וברצון את תפילתנו. השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה חדש ימינו כקדם. אל תשליכנו מלפניך ברוח קדשך אל תיקח ממנו. אל תשליכנו לעת זקנה ככלות כוחנו אל תעזבנו. אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, אל תעזבנו ואל תיטשנו ואל תכלימנו ואל תפר בתך איתנו. קרבנו לתורתך, למדנו מצוותיך, הורנו דרכך, הט ליבנו ליראת שמך, ומול את לבבנו לאהבתך, ונשוב אליך באמת ובלב שלם. ולמען שמך הגדול תמחה ותסלח לעווננו, ככתוב בדברי קדשך, למען שמך אדוני וסלחת לעווני כי רב הוא.
We read together in the English at the bottom of page 233. Our God, God of our ancestors, do not abandon us. Do not forsake us. Do not shame us. Do not annul your covenant with us. Draw us close to your Torah. Teach us your mitzvot. Show us your ways. Open our hearts to revere your name. Circumcise our hearts to love you. Then we will turn to you faithfully with a perfect heart. And as befits your own great name, pardon and forgive our sins. As the psalmist wrote, for the sake of your own name, forgive my sin, though it be great.
Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu, Selach lanu, Mechal lanu, Kaper lanu, Ki anu amecha ve'ata Eloheinu, Anu anecha ve'ata avinu, Anu avadecha ve'ata Adonenu, Anu kehalecha ve'ata chelkenu, Anu nachlatecha ve'ata goralenu, Anu tzonecha ve'ata ro'enu, Anu charmecha ve'ata notenu, Anu feulatecha ve'ata yosrenu, Anu rayatecha ve'ata dodenu. Anu segulatecha ve'ata krovenu. Anu amecha ve'ata malkenu. Anu ma'amirecha ve'ata ma'amirenu. Anu azefanim ve'ata rachum v'chanun. Anu kshei oref ve'ata erech apayim. Anu malei avon ve'ata malei rachamim. Anu yamenu k'tzel over ve'ata ushnotecha lo yitamu.
I invite you to rise for the confession on page 235.
Ay, 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 ay. Ashamnu, Bagadnu, Gazalnu, Dibanu Dofi, Ay, 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 ay. Hevinu, Hirshanu, Zadnu, Hamasnu, Kafalnu Sheker, Ay, 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 ay. Yatsnura, Kizavnu, Latsnu, Maradnu, Niatsnu, Saranu, Avinu, Pashanu, Saranu, Kishinu Oref, Ay, 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 ay. Rashanu, Shichatnu, Tiavnu, Tainu, Titanu, Sarnu mimitzvotecha mishpatecha hatovim velo shavalanu ve'ata tzadik al kol haba alenu ki emet asita v'anachnu hirshanu.
Page 236. We continue with the reading on the bottom left side. Under Dalet. Yeah.
You have always been known as the one who overlooks transgression. Hear our cry as we stand before you in prayer. Overlook the transgressions of a people turning from transgression. Wipe away our transgressions from your sight.
Page 237. I invite you to rise for the longer confession.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך ביצר הרע, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך ביודעים ולא יודעים, ועל כולם אלוה סליחות, סלח לנו, נקל לנו, כפר לנו. על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בעיניים רמות, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בעזות מצח. ועל כולם אלוה סליחות, סלח לנו, מחל לנו, כפר לנו. על חטא
שחטאנו לפניך.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בתשומת יד, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בדמעות לבב. ועל כולם אלוה סליחות, סלח לנו, מחל לנו, סלח לנו, מחל לנו, ואתה רחום מקבל שווים, ועל התשובה מראש הבטחתנו, ועל התשובה איננו מייחלות לך.
Page 240. You may be seated.
Mishana l'sara imenu beziknata, huyanenu, 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 huyanenu. Mishana le'Avraham Avinu behar hamoria, huyanenu, 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 huyanenu. Mishana litzak benam shenekad al gabe hamizbeach, huyanenu, 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 huyanenu. Mishana l'Rivka v'Herona, huyanenu. Mishana l'Yaakov b'Veit El, huyanenu. Mishana l'Leah be'Onya, huyanenu. Mishana l'Rachel be'itzvona, huyanenu. Mishana l'Yosef b'Veit ha'asherim, huyanenu. Mishana l'Me'adot ha'ivriot al ha'ovnaim, huyanenu. Mishana l'Yochevet al sfat ha'yor, huyanenu. Mishana l'Avertenu Imotenu al Yam Suf, huyanenu. Mishana leMoshe b'chorev, Hu Yanenu. Mishana leMiriam b've'era, Hu Yanenu. Mishana leAharon b'machta, Hu Yanenu. Mishana lePinchas b'kumo mitoch ha'eda, Hu Yanenu. Mishana livnot tzalof achad be'amdan petach ohel moed, Hu Yanenu, Hu Yanenu, Hu Yanenu, Hu Yanenu. Mishana lechol hatzadikim v'hachasidim v'hatmimim v'hayesharim v'harachmanim, Hu Yanenu, Hu Yanenu, Hu Yanenu, Hu Yanenu.
Page 242. We read responsively near the bottom of the page under the letter Hey. God of mercy, who answers the poor, answer us. God of mercy, who answers the brokenhearted, answer us. God of mercy, pity us. God of mercy, save us.
May the merciful one have compassion upon us speedily now and in time to come.
We continue on page 245. Please rise for Kaddish Shalem.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה ויעלמה דברה קירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולמי יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשא בריחו לעילא לעילא מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. צדקה בצלותון ובאותון דכל ישראל קדם אבוהון דיבי שמעיה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמעיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות ולא שמנו כמשפחות אדמה שלא שם חלקנו כהם וגורלנו ככל המונם ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא
We turn now to Mourner's Kaddish on page 247. As we do, we'll note that today, the 10th of Tishrei, we are observing the Yortzeit of Lee S. Weisberg. And in the coming week, we will be observing the Yortzeits of Sidney Mossman, Dorothy Albright, Selma Bush, Anna Zenoff-Lieb, Nellie Schnur, Jack Kabakoff, Abe Ogman, Aggie Ida Mizell, Maurice Lazarus, Jean Intrater Myers, Rose Belinky, and Howard Katz. We also think at this time of those we have lost in the recent past, including Ann Heldman, Joyce Lindy, Susan Goodman, Thomas Zemsky, Miriam Richmond, Lois Pornoy, Bob Schockler, Irv Goodman, Shirley Warman, Keith Bookbinder, Irwin Light, Elisa Strauss, B. Horowitz, Natalie Gerstein, Nate Wolfson, and Howard Galbart. And we think at this time of many we have lost in Israel since October 7th, and we think of some recent individuals who have been identified, included among these are at least one individual who was identified this week as having been killed on October 7th, but they were not able to make the identification until this week. It's a long list, unfortunately. Recent individuals identified by the IDF include Nisan Meiram, Tzvi Matityahu Marantz, Nathanael Hershkovitz, Uri Moshe Bornstein, Raphael Mordechai Fishoff, Roni Ganizat, Ravital Yahud, Dvir Sharvit, Noam Yisrael Abdu, Aviv Magen, Idan Shitivi, Itai Azulai, Nir Haddad, Shira Haya Suslik, Tal Dror, Daniel Aviv Chaim Sofer, Ben Sion Pelach, Harel Ettinger, Nezer Itkin, Noam Barzilai, Itai Ariel Giat, Ido Breuer, Amken Terefe, Or Mansour, and Eitan Yitzchak Oster. If there are other individuals that you are thinking of at this time, I will invite you to share names as we go around the room. If you are reciting Mourner's Kaddish, I invite you to join me, whether you're with us here in person or with us on the live stream. Again, we are on page 246 of your Machzor. 247 of your Machzor. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah. Ba'alama di'ivra kiruteh ve'amlich malchuteh b'chayecho u'v'yomecho u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'v'zman kariv ve'imur amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach La'alam U'Lalmei Almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal Shmei v'kudsha b'richu le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran ba'alama v'imru amen. Yehei Shalama Rabbah min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh Shalom b'imramav. Uya aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Page 248. David Adonai. David Adonai. Otavakesh. Ahashati meit Adonai. Otavakesh. Shivti b'vet Adonai. Kol yimei chayai. Lachazot b'noam b'noam Adonai. Ulvaker b'heichalo. Lachazot b'noam b'noam Adonai. Ulvaker b'heichalo.
Lulemanti lirot b'tov Adonai be'etz chayim. Kaveh el Adonai chazak v'yametz libecha v'kaveh el Adonai.
Well, we've come to that time of the service where it is time for announcements. So the Kiddush, oh, that's next week's announcement. So we will continue with Yom Kippur services tomorrow at 9 a.m. For those interested in the Torah service, that'll be at approximately 9:45, and Yizkor will follow. Mincha, the afternoon service, will take place at 5, and then we have a special learning session at 5:30. A representative of the Jewish Fertility Foundation will be present. We'll discuss special issues in our community regarding infertility and how it affects different people in our midst. We will then proceed to Nila, the closing service. That'll begin at 6:30, and the fast will end about 7:40. We'll have a modest break fast in the Zorndorf Social Hall thereafter. Now, the following day, we also will be interested in some of you joining us. We have our regular morning minyan at 9 a.m. There will be on Sunday evening a special yahrzeit minyan. Sarah Barnard has asked that we have at least 10 people here because it is the yahrzeit of her mother. If I could get a show of hands of people who think they can come on Sunday night. I'm not counting. Do we have the requisite number? Great. Fantastic. I want to thank everybody who had a part in services. If I talked about all of you, this would take another couple of hours. We don't have the time. We will post the names of everybody in an upcoming one of our weekly announcements. The beautiful bima flowers, which has caused our rabbi to wear a mask, but they are beautiful, were donated by the family of Lois Pornoy in her memory, and we thank them so much. Project Isaiah, our collection of food, is continuing this year. It's now too late to bring food over the next several hours. If you want to bring groceries after the end of Yontif tomorrow night, you may do so. The other alternative is to donate directly to the Jewish Family Service Hellman Food Pantry. And Mark Weinstein, I'd like you to raise your hand. Mark is coordinating the drive on behalf of our synagogue. He's also a board member at Jewish Family Service. We have other upcoming events. I'm sure the religious school kids will not be upset that school is canceled on Sunday. Instead, we're going to have a sukkah decorating party on Tuesday at 5 p.m. There will be pizza especially made in our kitchen. I'm told it will be great. The next set of holidays begins then on Wednesday night with Sukkot evening services and morning services on Thursday and Friday at 9:30 a.m. And for those who have ordered lulavim and etragim, they are here, and any time after Yontif you can pick them up. Then the following week, our annual Scotch in the Sukkah Bourbon in the Booth tasting will be on Saturday night. Talk to me afterwards about the location. And if you bring a bottle of your favorite libation, it will later be donated to the synagogue for our weekly Kiddush Club. And then a week from Sunday will be our Sukkah Hop that begins At 12:30, there will be 4 locations. We'll end with dessert at Northern Hills. And there's even more, but I think that's enough for tonight. So I wish everybody a Gemar Chatima Tova, and I turn it back to Ari.
We will conclude with Yigdal on page 250. I just want to offer my own words of appreciation. Thank you to everybody who began this evening off for us, the choir, Ari, all of our readers, to Connie and to Rabbi Shapra. Thank you all so much. It's been a nice way for me, at least, to start the Kol Nidre and to start our Yom Kippur. So, Ari, if you'll take us home. We're on page 250.
Yigdal Elohim Chai v'yishtabach Nitzav yein el ziyuto Echad v'en yachid keyehudo Me'elam v'gam en sof le'achduto Elo demut haguf ve'eno guf Lo na'aroch elav kedushato Kadmon l'chol davar asher nivra Rishon ben Reshit leReshito Hino Adon Olam v'chol notzar Yoreh gedulato u'malchuto Shefa nubuato netano el Anshe segulato v'tifarto Lo kam b'Yisrael kemo she'od Navi u'mabit et emunato Torah temet natan le'amoel Al yad nvi'o neman beito Lo yachal Yifa'el ve'lo yamir dato Le'olamim lezulato Tzofeh ve'yodea setarenu Mabit lesof davar b'kadmato Gomel ish chesed kemifalo Noten l'rashara kerishato Yishlach l'ketz yamin b'shilchenu Liftot mechakeket Yeshuato Metim yachayel berov chasto Baruch adei ad shem tehilato Metim yachayel berov chasto Baruch adei ad shem tehilato.
From Jules Harlow. All our secrets are known to you, Adonai. We cannot even fool ourselves. How could we deceive you within us, at once forming and knowing our most secret thoughts? We live in a world of illusion. We think we are separate, alone, cut off, misunderstood, unwanted. We forget we are a part of your glory, each of us a unique ray of your light. As we live our lives, rent asunder, each in our own small world, help us to remember what we often forget. We need one another. We each are part of the other. And in some place so well known, yet so secret, we may find our true solace in you. L'shana tova techatemu.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.